next few weeks, I want to talk to you about being a disciple, and I've really thought about this thing. I just preached a message at my church, and I just want to go back and pick up some things that would help us out. I'm going to jump right in the middle of a time that Jesus has with his disciples in Mark chapter 3. I'm going to jump down to verse 13. The Bible says, and Jesus went up into this mountain, and he calleth unto him whom he would, and they came unto him. And the Bible says he ordained 12 that they should be with him, and that he might send them forth to preach, to have power to heal sickness, to cast out devils. And then he begins to name them. He says, and Simon, surnamed Peter, James, the son of Zebedee, then John, the brother of James, and he surnamed them Boanerges, which is the sons of thunder. And then he says, and Andrew, and Philip, and Bartholomew, and Matthew, and Thomas, and James, the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, and Simon the Canaanite. And then he finishes up with Judas Iscariot, which we all know, which also betrayed him, and they went into his house. So here Jesus is. He goes up into this mountain. And the Bible says he calls unto him disciples. He calls unto him disciples. And here's what I want to raise the question is I know when I got saved. When I got saved, there's no doubt about me in my mind. I know that a shadow of doubt when I got born again. And that was in September 1964. But in about 10 years, not quite 10 years later, in 1974, earlier part of 74, I felt something going on in my life that I'd never felt before. Now, I was always being intrigued after I got saved. I loved church, and I loved the Lord. There were times where I didn't live like it, but there was something intriguing to me about being a follower of Jesus Christ. And so when I got saved, through the process of time, God brought me to a place where he was calling me not just to be saved, but to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. And that's huge. And if you're born again, I just want to say to you, if you're saved, you're born again, you have the Spirit of God inside you, and you can stay down off the mountain, or you can go up unto Jesus into the mountain and to say, you know what, I'm going to be a disciple. I'm going to be a disciple of Jesus. Now, for us to be able to define that, what is a disciple? So, what are you surrendering to when you say, look, I want to be a disciple of Jesus Christ? First of all, a disciple is a follower of Jesus, a follower of Jesus. In other words, you get behind him, you let him lead your life, you let him guide your life, and let him be the one that rules your life. A disciple is a follower of Jesus Christ. The Bible says in 1 Corinthians 11:1, Paul says this. He says, but ye be ye followers of me, as I also am of Christ. So he says, look, follow me because I'm following Jesus. And as a disciple of Jesus Christ, I should be able to say to you, look, follow me. And because why? Because I'm following Jesus Christ. Number two about a disciple is an imitator of Jesus Christ. In other words, your goal should be, I want to think like Jesus. I want to feel like Jesus. I want to act like Jesus. I want to treat my wife like Jesus would. I want to treat my kids like Jesus would. I want to be, everywhere I go, I want the life of Jesus Christ to be imitated through my life. And then third one is a disciple lives with the driving force of what would Jesus do. In other words, no matter what he faces, he's in his heart, he says, I want to do what Jesus would do if Jesus were here right now. What would he do? That's what I'm going to do with my life. And that is a driving force for the person that says, you know what? I'm going to go up into the mountain and be with Jesus, and I'm going to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. And we're going to take up here next week. Don't miss it, okay? Because I want you to hear the call of God. Go up in the mountain and say, you know what? I want to be a disciple of Jesus.